um, what is it? Rethought and revisited and rethought?
Babylon 5 Revisited and Rethought.
Right, you would think it after you visit, right? Okay.
Doesn't even know the name of the place.
I just need to show up and look pretty, right?
Pretty much.
I mean, what if I left my brain upstairs?
We'll
like
just dub over your voice or something.
Oh, okay. Welcome back to the Babylon 5 Revisited and Rethought project. I'm Jenny, and I am also a clinical psychologist and a sci-fi noob. This is a media therapy project that I'm coming back to where I will go on this, where I expect to go on this personal journey of self-discovery and psychological growth and learning things that I probably wouldn't have learned if I wasn't exposed to certain experiences and situations that weren't presented to me like right now in my life. It's about really being able to think through different experiences and becoming more flexible with ideas and circumstances, as well as understanding new situations that I may never have encountered. And from my experience of doing media therapy, what I realize is that when I go through and think about, really give it some thought about different situations, it expands the way I think about things, and it deepens my understanding of myself and also other people. So this journey is about allowing myself to experience transferential feelings and being aware of those emotions and those thoughts that come to my mind, and allowing myself to free associate with these experiences, basically, and being able to pinpoint where it comes from, what it means, how it affects me, how I may be able to see things a little bit differently, how I can deepen my understanding of these reactions that I may have and these responses that I may want to give in order to better understand myself. Through that process, I think generating insight is really integral to growth and self-discovery. And that really actually leads to a lot of change, whether it's, how I feel about myself, or what I think about situations, as well as my relationships with other people. There's still a lot for me to understand and work through and grow, because after all, I'm still human and I have my own set of life experiences that I've gone through. I've also been shaped by the many circumstances that were also in my life, the different factors that I've gone through. And that includes being a Korean American, growing up with immigrant parents who do not speak English, what it means to have lived as a low-income minority in a very highly densely populated part of New Jersey back in the 80s and 90s. And I think through my experiences, you'll see, I think elements of those life experiences will show up, and some challenges that I face will most likely come up. What would be, I think, interesting for me to even see is how I would come to even resolve some of those things that I may not have resolved yet through watching some of these episodes of Babylon 5, because I think what's integral to human experience is that for the most part, we are kind of connected psychologically in many ways. It's just that the perspectives are a little bit different in how we see it. Back in 2014 is when I actually moved to the Boston area for my internship. I came back after a year in 2015, but then I had to start my postdoc. And then, but those 2 years especially were really my sickest years. My health was really failing me at that point, and I really wasn't able to function. I barely finished my internship, I barely finished my postdoc, and then after that I was unemployed for a few months. So that added to quite a bit of stress in my life. And then somehow I got a job, but then I had to like readjust to having this job. I was offered a job as a dementia unit manager at a skilled nursing facility, and that presented a lot of challenges of its own because I was not familiar with dementia at all. So I went to trainings. I had to learn how to navigate working with residents with dementia, and also staff, helping them understand the nature of dementia and how the illness affects people. But as I continued on, life just kind of continued to remain busy. Now, studying for my licensing exam, which is the boards for clinical psychology, was on the table for several years. Given my health, my work, and everything going on, and like how difficult this exam is, studying had to take number one priority, even though like I had to do it in like these small chunks. And that took a number of years as well. But here I am, finally licensed, and I have one thing major that's off my plate. So I said to myself, maybe now is the time, especially with B5, the Babylon 5 having a new reboot. I figure this is really a time for me to like do this. It's like now or never, right? And it's a show that I know that I could probably have watched on my own, but I never really wanted to do that. I never wanted to go ahead and watch the shows without giving it justice to like put thought into each one of these episodes, because I know that, well, I was told several times by Elaine that JMS had really intended for the show to have powerful messages that people were able to take with them personally. So I never wanted to like lose that opportunity. That I really felt like I needed to do, even if it was some time ahead in the future. So fast forward 9-10 years, here I am, and I want to actually give that justice. So I know that I watched up to episode 4, and I said that okay, the last time I did this show, I watched up to episode 4. Actually, I watched up to episode 5. Episode 4 was a show that I did the last recording. Episode 5 was a show that I watched, and I could not understand what this phone meant. I mean, what this phone meant?
Wow.
The interference is real.
I mean, are you interested in Babylon 5 as a television series?
Yeah, actually, I was. I mean,
you've only ever watched the same 4 episodes, but do you...
like the same for episodes, like 5 times.
Were you interested in the story? Like, were you curious about...
I'm not sure if I got far ahead enough for me to be interested in the story, but I was interested in the characters. And I think up to the 4 or 5 episodes I watched, that was what kind of, that's what's bringing me back, as well as what I anticipate, which is that even through the 4 or 5 episodes, there was so much I learned. I don't really know about the story plot being interesting yet. I don't really, because the last episode left me really clueless and confused. But I know that there was a lot of messages behind that, but I just really couldn't scrutinize it at the time and analyze what the show was trying to say at the time. But right now, from the 4 episodes that I've watched and I remember, or 5 episodes that I've watched and remember, it's really the characters that really drew me back. Yeah, that's actually really quite tragic, I don't know. I mean, I think the only thing that I could possibly say now, and I don't want to, I don't want to come off sounding narcissistic in any way, because I'm just offering my own opinions, is this. Is that even now, like even if it's posthumously, that is the right word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's posthumously, that, through their work, I would be able to gain something, and I would, hopefully I could actually add meaning to what they provided and what they were able to convey through their acting of their characters. Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to?
Getting past episode 5. And go one episode further. Just like Minecraft, just one more block. You know what? I think I'm gonna have to use that as my motto. Just one more episode. I really don't want to give up again this time around, and I hope there won't be any challenges that really get in the way of like doing this consistently. I really do want to at least try to finish a season out of what, 7?
5.
Oh, okay, 5. That's less bad. That seems more attainable, I guess.